Hello guys, I am Brandon Carey, and today we are going to go through another exciting episode of Noire. I believe there's a army scene that comes right after this. Oh no, we missed it. Oh well. In my hurry, we missed an army scene. Probably not much importance, but Cole Phelps showing that he's once again a complete asshole. Unless it was the scene, I hope it wasn't the scene I'm thinking of. That was the scene from the army that we skipped. Because there's a scene, I might as well say just in case we don't get to it.
House fire. Bad one. At least 4 Vicks. Get out there and find out what you can. The address is 650 North Hobart.
We're playing heavy rain.
I found him.
So, in order, just in case the scene I think gets skipped, I'm gonna explain what happened. We thought up until now that the reason that Cole Phelps is kind of like this, I need to get glory, regardless of all else, is because he feels like he doesn't deserve the silver star he got on Sugarloaf for being the only survivor of his squad, essentially. And that's true, but there's more to it than that. Cole Phelps, when he was an army officer, had one of his soldiers within the flamethrower unit, essentially, burn everyone in a cave that he thought was an enemy spy, hideout. It was actually a field hospital, where a ton of Japanese soldiers who were receiving treatment, and the doctors treating them, were all burned alive at Cole Phelps' orders. And as a result, he had to execute everyone in the cave so that none of the Japanese people would survive and tell the tale, otherwise that would be a war crime. And as a result, Cole Phelps, who is a fucked up person, knows he's a fucked up person and tries his best to hide the fact that he's kind of a fucked up person, and tries to gain recognition so that he can feel good about himself, despite the fact that he has done and committed horrible things in the middle of World War II. So, in case the scene that we missed is the one that I think it is, I want that to be like out there as a thing that we know. Yes, Kelly, burns everyone alive. Looks like I made a mistake. That is that is a crude but accurate description of what happened. And this is a weird way to start off a stream, but this is something that you absolutely need to know to understand a part of the story, because this becomes relevant.
You know the way. You can drive.
You hear about Rancho Escondido?
Are we having a conversation, Biggs?
Okay, fuck it. Forget Ike.
I'm teasing you, Herschel. Tell me about it.
And the new housing development's a couple of weeks from completion. Burned to the ground last night. GIs are ready to move in this weekend. Developer's gonna have some very angry customers.
That's an important piece of information. A home that was built for GIs was burned down to the ground as the people were about to move in. And yeah, I actually, you joke about that, and Cole Phelps' tone is flat, but I actually do like the writing there. I like that that Cole Phelps is having a little fun, and that they're able to have a little raconteur.
Hope you have strong stomachs. Do you have a name?
Morelli, Mike. We recovered a picture of the family.
Okay. Anything else?
To be honest, I just got here, Phelps. Best you talk to Lynch. He's the expert.
Doesn't make any sense. Why aren't they scattered around like the rest of the debris?
I think they've been moved.
Ooh.
I think someone moved them after the explosion and before the fire.
Can you explain that, please?
I'm almost positive the cause of death is asphyxiation due to gas inhalation. Look at the parts of their bodies that aren't scorched. The coloring around the fingertips is typical.
They wouldn't have felt a thing.
I think the fire damage is post-mortem. I think someone moved him into this room after the explosion.
It still doesn't make any sense. Why would you run into a burning building?
Yeah, this is a way to start a stream. Apparently, I suppose.
The prayer effect is from the fire. The muscles and tendons contract.
Yeah. So burning.
You ever think about how many people have died in this world? And how big heaven would have to be to accommodate them, Biggs?
No, I have not. Show some respect.
Another dollar.
As someone says, another dollar in the background. Show some respect. It's really well timed, game.
It's our boy. I think he watches the fires. I think the Sawyer fire went wrong.
So what about the guy we have in jail, Phelps?
We got the wrong guy.
That doesn't explain why he ran into a burning building. What would make anyone do that?
Guilt.
For the fires?
For his mistake. This guy wants to burn houses, not families. He expects the houses to be empty. He was trying to redeem himself. He probably thought they'd be happier together.
You are one very disturbed individual, Phelps. I know you had it rough lately, but you should start to compartmentalize your thoughts.
He could be right. Can you come up with an alternative explanation?
I'm sure it's the same guy.
Are you telling me that some son of a bitch murdered these people, the whole family, and arranged them here like Cupid dolls?
Might fit, Cole, but I don't think we could ever prove it. There's very little evidence.
Evidence?
Albert, check out the hot water system. Make sure we're dealing
In
with the same
complete
MO.
Sure,
fairness
Phelps,
to
I'll get back.
Herschel,
Leave the rest to us, Cole.
that is
You can find out
perhaps
what's eating Biggs.
the most composed way one could react to a body doing that in front of you. I do not blame him for freaking out, because that is a thing that you should not never have to see, ever. That is a horrific thing that he is witnessing right now. Also, to answer your earlier question, Kelly, the guy with the firefighter hat's a fire marshal. They give him the helmet to let you know that. I think it's more symbolic than anything else. I don't know if actual fire marshals wear that kind of helmet, but he apparently does. But yeah, this house, it got burned. And I should probably go talk to Herschel to kind of console him, since he rightfully freaked out at the idea of a serial arsonist trying to murder the family so that they didn't burn and die a horrific death due to fire. That's not a good way to go. That's a terrible way to go.
So something finally got to you.
You want my help, pretty boy? You got it. You keep riding me and you won't be pretty much longer.
We can get this guy, Herschel.
You think you've seen everything, Phelps? I was with the 2nd Marines at Bella Wood. The things that went on in that farmhouse. My own guys on fire, screaming for a way out. You're not gonna get this guy. There's gonna be no photos and no citations. We're gonna kill this miserable fuck. End of story. You getting this?
Herschel's a good man.
Remember the list from the travel agent?
Sure.
The Morellis were winners too. Their name was on that list.
Christ. We should take a look around, work the neighbors, see what they know. I'll go across the street.
Okay, I'll try this side.
But yeah, Herschel is a guy who
I've
is
done this for years.
tortured, but a good guy.
Fire, son.
And this kind of broke him. Also, Cole Phelps, with the way he interacts with Herschel, is doing himself no favors. He is still, even though he is a disgraced golden boy, an asshole golden boy.
LAPD, can you tell me anything about the fire next door?
Terrible luck. Imagine after having won that weekend away.
What's your name, sir?
Foreman. Dudley Foreman.
That sounds like a porn star name.
Did you see or hear anything that might have...
Look, we were asleep when we heard the explosion.
I don't believe you.
You didn't like Morelli, did you?
Some neighbors you get along with, some you don't. Guess they should have sold up.
What do you mean?
They're knocking down all these old houses and building a new subdivision for GIs. Morelli was being difficult.
You said someone is knocking these houses down?
Elysian Fields. You must know them. They're billboards. That Monroe character beaming down at you. We've had an offer for the house.
Did the Morellis want to sell?
I don't know.
I also doubt you.
Whatever you thought of Morelli, his whole family is dead. They couldn't have all deserved that. I want you to help me here, Foreman.
Morelli was pig-headed. He built the house himself. He didn't want to sell. Stubborn fool was ruining it for all of us.
You said the Morellis had won a weekend away to Catalina Island?
Yeah, that's right. First thing I thought after the explosion was, thank goodness they was away. But then I find out they was still in there.
Who was running the competition?
What? I don't know.
I think he's telling the truth, but...
You didn't enter yourself?
I'd already agreed to sell. The competition was an incentive for those who were still thinking about it.
Oh, there
All
must...
a man can do is put in a prayer for the dead. That's about all I've got to say about it.
I must have some clues that I need to collect before I interview him further.
Looks like the same model.
Reginald Varley again, huh? I wonder. Oh, newspaper. Let's see what new piece of story information we will get.
How did you get my number, Ira?
At first, I didn't understand you. But now I do.
I'd like you to come back to the clinic.
I'm helping other people now, Doctor.
I think you are confused. You haven't been to the clinic for weeks.
I'm not confused anymore, Doctor. I'm helping people be together.
This world is only temporary. We'll all be happier in heaven. Why don't you tell me where you are and I can come to you? I think the fires should end now. They have served their purpose.
Oh, the fires are only beginning, Doctor. After the fires, everything will be beautiful and clean.
Everything will be erased. The world will be fresh and new.
I can see my purpose now, Doctor. And you helped me to find it.
The doctor is, I remind you, not a good person. So... another little detail to add to the plot. Clearly this is relevant to the current arson case, even though, like, we can't, like, that's not evidence and not technically part of the case. It's relevant, it's information relevant to it. Wonder if I can talk to him with that new information.
All a man can do is put in a prayer for the dead. That's about all I've got to say about it.
Let's see what Herschel has over here. Oh, guess nothing. In that case, I guess I gotta look for more clues. Because it's very clear that that man still has information relevant to the case. Which means that I have some investigating to do.
There isn't much I can tell you right now, Cole.
If worst comes to worst, I can just use my intuition points. Remaining 2. Okay, yeah. That's fine. Oh, of course.
You think talk is cheap? Try hiring a lawyer.
That was a waste of intuition point, I suppose. Well, let's just look it up in the guide, I suppose. Since the game just literally erased the intuition I spent by just moving slightly outside of the realm of operations. That's kind of annoying, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe there's something in the inbox? No? Okay. What is the name of this case? Noire, Arson desk. Bear with me for a second, chat, folks. Give me. I deeply apologize for this. A walk in Elysian Fields. Cigarette butt next to a tree in the neighbor's yard. Oh.
The cannibals finished off eating the clown. One said, "Did that taste funny to you?"
Someone was keeping watch. Looks like they were here for quite a while. Brand looks distinctive.
I didn't realize this was part of the crime scene.
Whoever he was wearing boondockers. I would know that imprint anywhere.
And those are the last clues we need.
Did you see anyone hanging around the Morelli's home prior to the explosion?
Nope. Can't say as I was looking out, though.
You sure, Mr. Foreman? There are signs of someone hanging around over there by the fence.
Hey, now that you come to think of it, there was a guy. Kind of tall. Skinny, though.
Anything else?
Orange lumber jacket, a beat-up hat, and no hair. I thought he was the pest exterminator guy who was working around here the last few days. But that guy had hair.
Thanks for your time, Mr. Foreman.
Sure. Hey, if you're interested, I have one of those competition flyers in the kitchen. I could get it for you if you like.
That would be great.
Any luck, Cole?
Couple of things. What did you pick up?
Folded piece of paper. Looks complicated.
Japanese call it origami. Can I take a look?
Sure.
Paper crane. There's a legend about them. You fold 1,000 of these and you get a wish.
Hey, don't break it.
I'm not. I'm unfolding it. It looks like a waybill or a flyer.
For what?
For Elysian Fields developments.
Oh, I see you already have one.
When did the flyer arrive in your mailbox?
They've been arriving for weeks. This one was in the mailbox when I got home from work yesterday afternoon.
And so the conspiracy thickens. Now let's call this get an address on this Elysian Fields development, even though we already got one because of the last case.
I need an address for a property developer. Elysian Fields Developments.
One moment, Detective. The address is 748 North Oxford Avenue, Wilshire. Anything else?
Messages, please.
You have a message. Contact Captain McKelty immediately.
Thanks. Can you put me through, operator?
Of course. Here you are.
Of course. Here you are.
Commander?
Leads on the Morelli fire.
We're about to go and visit Elysian Fields developments.
You're about to do what? Leland Monroe? He's a personal friend of the mayor and the chief. Are you out of your mind? I'm warning you, Phelps.
Commander, we have a line of inquiry.
You have something, you bring it to me. You're hanging by a thread, Phelps. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Good. Have a report on my desk today.
You think talking's cheap? Try hiring
Kelty
a
has
lawyer.
warned us off over Elysian.
Makes sense. It's at that end. We should check out Rancho Escondido.
You know the place?
Sure. Corner of Fountain and Wilton. Let's go.
You're behind the wheel.
Fine. Where are we headed?
I know he said not to go, but fuck it, let's go.
Fine. But if the skipper sees us driving around in this, we're dead.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, yeah, you're right.
A shame about Shep. The arson desk has been trying to nail that son of a bitch for years.
He's still in custody, Herschel.
Want to bet? Fella kicked him loose already. Can't hold him for misdemeanor cigarettes and matches.
I actually do bet that Cole Phelps calls the operator because he feels lonely. A lot. Because Cole Phelps is the kind of dude that needs validation from everybody, including, "How can I help, detective?" lady.
Detectives Phelps and Biggs, LAPD, to see Leland Monroe.
Do you have an appointment?
We're the police, lady. We don't need an appointment.
Can I tell him what it's about?
It's an official investigation.
There are 2 police officers here to see Mr. Monroe.
Send them through.
Operator team.
And that's our cue. Thanks, ma'am.
All right. Let's talk to the big Leland Monroe.
Can I help you, gentlemen?
We would like to speak to Mr. Monroe.
I'm afraid it's impossible. Mr. Monroe's schedule is booked weeks in advance.
Cut to the chase, sister. Is he in?
I'm not at liberty to reveal that, officer.
So he hired you for your intelligence?
I find that offensive.
You have every right to.
This is getting...
Casino.
Would you like us to return with a warrant?
That won't be necessary, gentlemen. Come into my office.
I'm offended. You have every right to be.
You like a cigar? Drink, boys.
Sure, I'll have a scotch.
Biggs. We're investigating a series of domestic fires, Mr. Monroe.
It's terrible.
It's a good line.
How can I help?
Even if it's a little misogynistic, it's a good line.
Elysian Fields and Suburban Redevelopment Fund flyers keep turning up in the vicinity of the fires.
They're turning up all over town, boys. Can you imagine the current demand for housing?
So that's your explanation, Mr. Monroe? Coincidence?
Explanation? Why, what's to explain? I advertise on radio and billboards for buyers, and I advertise for sellers using Weber.
We hear that Suburban is under severe time pressure to complete work on the new houses. I think you're getting heavy-handed about it, and it's gone wrong.
I hope you have some proof of how I'm involved in this. I'll be happy to sue you for whatever you're worth.
Don't believe I can actually prove that you're involved. No.
Looks like I was mistaken.
But I'm gonna doubt you.
We found a family burnt out in their home. Another house burned to the ground. Another Elysian Fields flyer. Our information is that they didn't want to sell.
Are you saying that's something to do with me? Is that your point?
Point is, every time we find a family barbecued, we find one of your flyers. Is that good advertising?
What do you know about a competition for families to win free vacations to Catalina Island?
I
My company runs many promotions. I'm not familiar with that one.
How could you not be?
Level with me, Mr. Monroe. You know all about the vacation offers.
You can believe whatever you like, son. You're missing the vital ingredient called proof.
Your name's on the your name and face are on the fucking flyer.
Your face is all over the flyers, Mr. Monroe. You know about the prizes, and you're aware that they get given to holdouts.
My face is the brand. It's on all our advertising. Did you know that the mayor and the chief of police are part of the Suburban Redevelopment Fund? You want to accuse them of murder as well?
Huckster. Achievement unlocked. I like that.
You've made offers to buy houses in areas where fires have been recorded.
Are you suggesting that I'm burning people out of their homes so that I can sell them new ones?
What happens to your plans if a family like the Morellis refuses to sell?
We work around them. Business finds a way. That's the American way.
Woo! That's the American way. Oh, I have so many things I could say in response to that. So many things.
I think you're being less than candid, Mr. Monroe. You're building these homes to some timetable. You're under pressure to get rid of the holdouts.
And how exactly do you think you can prove that in a court of law, detective?
I cannot.
It's nothing personal. I'm just doing my job. You understand that?
The American way is definitely on display here, but not in the way you seem to think it is, Mr. Monroe.
Come on, Mr. Monroe. You expect me to believe that you would build a new development with one of those old piles smack bang in the center of it?
Progress is an inexorable process, detective. Those who choose to stand in defiance are usually confined to the wastebasket of history. To answer your question, yes, we would build around them if we had to. Most people see sense. The arsonists, do you have any suspects?
We aren't at liberty to say.
I didn't think so. The contractors I use for waybills, you suppose it could be any of them? I have a list of their names if it'd be of any help.
That would be very helpful, Mr. Monroe.
Glad to hear it. I'm always happy to help the LAPD. My secretary will provide you with that list. Did you know that I'm on the board of the police pension fund?
Glad to be of help.
Because, of course, taxpayer money doesn't pay for the pension fund. Rich donors do.
What's the story? Any of these names ring a bell?
Herbert Chapman is on this list.
Find the phone. We need to know where we're at with Chapman.
No, Kelly, he didn't burn them, but you're close.
Your boss is a fine man.
You're very close.
Did you read about the woman who stabbed her husband and then pushed him in front of the car? That's the.
I'm gonna use telephone lady
Operator,
while you're
give
just
me
typing.
Dispatch.
Putting you through now.
Susie, you are so bad.
Phelps, badge 1247.
How could I help,
The
Detective?
fuck did I just watch?
Can you check whether we are still holding a Herbert Chapman?
Let me find out for you. He was released this morning, Detective. I'm sorry, Detective.
Not your fault. Can you give me a last known address and put out an APB on the guy?
I'll get back to you, Detective. APB will go out over KGPL shortly.
Thanks for your help.
A nice thing about egotists.
But,
About other people.
Leyland Monroe is definitely involved, and there's a lot more people than him involved in this conspiracy.
You drive. I need to go over the case notes.
So where do you want to go?
There's actually...
You gotta be kidding me. We're driving this?
There's quite a few people involved in this conspiracy, and it goes quite high.
You know, there are times when you really miss a nightstick. There's more religion in the end of a nightstick than in 100 cathedrals.
I'm not gonna tell you again, sir.
Don't tell me when and how I can come and go on my own property.
It is not
This is
safe,
America,
sir.
dickhead.
Now step back, or I'll lock you up for
Smart
a fray.
mouth son of a bitch.
Come on, then! That's done it, Cole. We're gonna have to pacify these poor saps.
Come on now.
Stand down! That's an order!
I'm gonna bust you right in the mouth.
Unarmed combat in LA Noire, always great.
Time for you to lose some teeth.
Good thing you showed up when you did, detectives. Those folks were baying for blood.
Okay, then. Let's see if there's anything left to take a look at.
Yep, beating up people who are just trying to look at their homes. We are great and loyal police officers. Such good cops. Oh, look, a cop lost his hat. That's pretty funny. Oh, there's a brick here.
Mortar is like dust. Is that normal in a fire?
You'd expect some shrinkage in the heat, but it looks like the cement barely adhered to the brick. Doesn't appear to be any wall ties either. This thing looks like it was built on the cheap.
So these are all homes that are built for veterans returning from the war, and we have evidence that they were built with cheap, low-quality materials that would not hold themselves together. And top of that, they were all burned down.
You got an idea, Hotshot?
And so now that Cole Phelps has a lead, he'll go to the place he goes to listen to his one true love. And there's Roy Earl, who just walked in.
Buy me a drink, Cole? No. Not even for old time's sake?
Not even for that.
You're not gonna ask me why I'm here?
I wouldn't give you the pleasure. You'll get around to it.
She's in fine voice this evening. I wonder how the commander would feel
Save
about...
the threats for someone who cares about them, Roy.
You're breaking my heart, Cole. You know how I feel about you.
I very much appreciate Cole Phelps saying "fuck you" and "fuck your" family.
Stay away from Elysian Fields.
I should have known that you were playing errand boy.
You and your doofus partner. You have been warned.
Thanks for your cooperation, officer.
Stay away. You have no idea the type of people that are involved in that
I
company.
have a pretty good idea, Roy. The same kind of people that sent you here.
Your investigation is finished. Homicide will be taking over from here. I've heard we've had a spate of grass fires in the hills that you and that hunchback might be able to handle. Thanks for the drink, Cole.
So
You get the message about Monroe?
Yeah. Earl delivered it. You?
McKelty started making noises about my pension.
Sorry about that, Herschel. I didn't mean to drag you into this.
Save it, Phelps. Monroe's an asswipe. And so was Earl. And so was McKelty when it's all said and done.
So, here's the real secret to why Herschel is bitter. Is because he sees how corrupt the cops are and is really, really pissed about it. So he's lazy as a result.
Address of suspect Herbert Chapman is 650 North Kingsley Drive in Wilshire.
Roger that, KGPL. 11K en route.
Let's go pick him up.
You fought at Sugarloaf, didn't you?
I did. But I don't like to talk about it.
You come across a guy called Jack Kelso out that way?
You know Jack Kelso?
He's an insurance investigator over at California Fire and Life. Our paths cross from time to time. For some reason, seeing you makes me think of him.
Has, Jack spoken to you about his experiences on Sugarloaf? Or the rest of the campaign?
Jack keeps stum just like you do. I know what it feels like to get back from conflict. You gotta respect that.
But yeah, I also relate a lot to Herschel Biggs. Like, I can understand, like, when you understand where his attitude comes from, it makes a ton of sense. Like, he sees the blatant, disgusting corruption. He's just trying to do his job as an arson cop. But, like, the fact that all these people are so visibly, totally transparently corrupt, and there's not much you can do about it, just frustrates the hell out of him. And that's why, like, even though his pension's on the line, he's like, yo, Cole, I get it. We're doing this anyway, and I don't care if your pension is on the... I don't care if my pension's on the line, or if yours is either, for that matter. We're doing this. Like, he's down all the way if he sees a conspiracy, and it's a nice... He's like one of the... It's the reason why I really enjoy him as a partner, is because, like... He is probably my favorite, like, actually, now I think about it, probably more than Burkowski, even though Burkowski's is kind of, like, the other cool one. Like, you don't really see anything from Kelso. He's kind of milquetoast. He is your pretty basic bitch cop who will get the job done, but, like, not much more than that. And there's something to be said about that, because he will at least get the job done, unlike Rusty or Roy. Rusty, who is lazy, and Roy, who is actively corrupt. Yeah, like there's a reason why those two are the most liked partners in the game by quite a landslide. Even though I'd say Roy is one of the more interesting ones, he's also, like, one of the worst ones. Actually... Fuck this. I'm gonna park, and Herschel, you're gonna drive the rest of the way. I don't want to drive the rest of this. Yes, Herschel is the cop who says fuck the police. Which, again, is why he's the best. Like, he is old and tired and sick of this injustice. That's all he is, which is honestly fucking big mood in 2019.
We're looking for Herbert Chapman.
I'm looking for him, too. I need him to move his car so I can mow the lawn.
He's definitely not here.
I've been banging on his door off and on for a couple of hours. Yeah, he's out somewhere. There's some kind
Let's
of problem.
take a look at the car.
Let's see what he's hauling around.
Mosquito coil?
Motive, opportunity, and hard evidence.
Ammo? What we need ammo for?
We should revise the APB. He's clearly armed.
That's a mosquito coil, Kelly. And as we've talked about in previous cases in the previous case in Arson Desk, a mosquito coil will give you an hour delay on an arson fire, so that if you're an arsonist, you can run away and still be and still be safe for the fire.
I know that face.
Definitely gives him opportunity.
Like the reason why that's hard evidence is because we've talked about it being a preferred method of arsonists before.
There he is. It's
in the
Chapman.
story.
He's coming out of the laundromat. Shit! He's seen us.
Cops. Again.
Son of a bitch! He must have caught the trolley. We gotta move fast, Cole. I'll call this in. Get some cars dispatched. Car 11K calling KGPL.
Go ahead, 11K.
11K requesting assistance. In pursuit of suspect aboard the 1110 University streetcar. Currently heading east on Melrose
Holy
Avenue.
shit!
Advise all units. Suspect is in control of car and driving dangerously.
Roger, 11K.
Driving dangerously, he says.
On Melrose Avenue. A suspect aboard the 1110 University streetcar headed eastbound. Approach with caution. Suspect is in control of the streetcar and driving dangerously. Units to handle code 3.
Oh shit!
Stay on his ass, Cole. Don't lose him.
Holy shit! Why? Why would you get in my way, fire truck?
See if he can damage one of the wheels. Might act like a brake and slow the thing down.
I can't drive very fast in this car, Rusty.
Hold him tight, Cole. As soon as he ditches the tram, we'll be there to grab him. I can't hit a target that isn't there, Phelps.
Oh my god.
Get me closer to the driver's cabin. I'll plug Chapman. Look, Cole, the side plate's gone. Get me closer, I think.
There we go.
End of the line, you little prick. Come on, Cole.
That's...
Looks like we have our man, Cole. Well done.
I'm not so sure. Chapman seemed to have his own agenda. There seems to be more to this than a personal vendetta.
What are you talking about?
The fires benefit Elysian in some way. I don't see Chapman and Monroe working together.
You have a point. The evidence is good for Chapman. Hard to be worrying about his side of the story when he's blasting away with that big 45.
Ah! Says Cole as he gets shot.
Nice work, gentlemen. Put yourself at considerable risk stopping that trolley and probably saved a lot of lives. Anyone else but you, Phelps, and you'd be up for a bravery award. We've had our eyes on that slippery son of a bitch Chapman for as long as I can remember. I couldn't be happier than to wipe him off the scoreboard. I hope this puts to bed that crazy stuff you had going about Leland Monroe. What were you thinking, Phelps? We'll be calling Richard Nixon a crook next.
Ha 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 ha! It's a funny historical joke. Not really. Not really. Why did we shoot him? Because he shot at us. He had a gun. That's why we shot him, actually. Like, 100% the real story.
A letter from Lou. His insurance policy named me beneficiary.
California Fire and Life. You worked for Elysian?
The roof that he was working on collapsed.
It's a very generous settlement. Elsa, I'd like you to do something for me. I think there's something dirty about Elysian Fields.
What has that got to do with Lou?
I want you to reject this settlement. I want you to go and see an investigator named Jack Kelso and ask him to make some inquiries about Lou's case.
Isn't this police work?
Do you want to find out what happened to Lou?
Why would he help this Kelso?
Jack won't be able to help himself if he smells a rat.
He's a friend of yours?
He hates my guts. Elsa, you could take this money and let them get away with it, or we could get Jack's help and do something about it.
Why not be honest with this man, Cole? He deserves your honesty if you want his help.
Believe me, Elsa, I'd like to level with him. I really would, but it's too late. Years too late.
So, I think this sets up an interesting dynamic for the rest of the game, but I'm not entirely sure if it's this case that does it. Oh, no, it is. Okay, yes, this is the case. So, as you can see, we're not at the police station. We're at California Fire and Life.
Mr. Kelso?
That's what the sign on the door says, miss.
Deal with the female
There's no need to come
client.
into the office, Miss Lichtman. If you accept the settlement, all you need to do is sign here.
As you can see, we are now playing as Jack Kelso. We are no longer playing as Cole Phelps, and we will not play as him for the rest of the game. We will be playing as Jack Kelso for the remainder of our time in L.A. Noire.
I don't accept the
What do
settlement.
you mean you don't accept? I think you're pushing your luck, lady. This seems to be a ridiculously generous settlement. A $200 policy with a $20,000 payout? You should...
I don't want the money.
What do you mean you don't want the money?
I want you to investigate this case. I feel my friend may have been the victim of foul play.
Okay. Let me get the case file.
So to summarize what happened, Cole Phelps has been completely blocked from investigating the Elysian Fields fire case by the LAPD. They have told him you cannot investigate this case any further. And Cole Phelps, being lawful neutral, will obey. However, he is aware that his friend Jack Kelso is lawful good, and that his good tendencies outweigh his lawful tendencies. And so he knows that if he can somehow get Jack to start investigating this case and understand the conspiracy involved, Jack will absolutely keep on this case until it kills him. And so now that he's found an opportunity through Elsa and that insurance claim to get Jack working on this case, he has. This is essentially Elsa working as Cole's spy or Cole's double agent to get Jack to work the case that he can no longer do, that he's no longer able to do. And since
There's got to be more in these files.
My father says I'll never be an actress.
And so from now on, we will be playing as Jack
Seems like
Kelso.
your friend took a hell of a fall. Sorry for your loss. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions?
Of course not.
And you'll also find that Jack Kelso has the same artist abilities that Cole has, and that he can very accurately in the span of 2 seconds completely draw someone's face in his notebook.
What basis do you have for your claim of foul play?
Lou Buckwalter was a craftsman. I don't believe he would have made a roof that would collapse.
You want me to reopen this case based on your woman's intuition? That isn't going to happen. Take the money.
I've already told you I do not want the money. There's something wrong with that house.
You and Buckwalter weren't married?
No.
Then how did you become his beneficiary?
We were family friends.
So, we're used to not, as the player through the newspapers, knowing more than the characters. But in this case, they're like we were part.
You expect me to reopen this case because you come in here walking that walk? Well, I'm not buying it. I think you should tell me what the hell is going on.
You really want to know?
Yes.
We were interned together on Ellis Island. Resident alien Germans whose parents had been killed by Nazis. Do you see the irony in that, Mr. Kelso. We spent 4 years there.
But you're in a unique position where our previous character essentially set up the groundwork for this new character's investigation to start, and we know essentially what the actual we know the entire conspiracy more or less. But as our new protagonist doesn't know, we have to go through these questions, and we have to say, "Oh, we know to play a bad cop," not because Jack is a great investigator, but because we as a player have already aware that she's not telling the truth, or she's not being forthcoming because we sent her here.
What exactly are you trying to achieve here, Miss Lichtman?
Exactly what I said. I want that building thoroughly investigated.
You expect me to believe that you have no ulterior motive? That money means nothing to you?
I believe that money has value. I believe your work defines who you are, and you should be paid relative to the quality of your work.
All right, Miss Lichtman. One final question.
Yes.
What's your address?
Is that usual?
Is there anything usual about this case, Miss Lichtman?
The address is on the letter, Mr. Kelso.
Heather Alexandria.
The address, but not the phone number.
Wrote a piece on Kotaku as she streamed L.A. Noire played through for that site.
Mr. Benson would like to see you in his office, Jack. Upstairs.
Where she points out that
Come on, I'll walk you up.
up until now, this has kind of been a standard police procedural and less of a noir game, but this scene is very much a noir scene. This is where this is kind of like how noir comes into play, because we just had the Dame, with the mysterious Dame, walk into a private investigator's office and ask him to open a case. That is a very noir way to open a story. And if we didn't have 3 cases or 3 deaths worth of Cole Phelps beforehand, that would be a very, very good opener. But we have all this backstory now because of what we've done as Cole Phelps. So it feels like this is where the story actually starts, truly. Like, that was, like, the rest of that was just step tell you how to play the game, and now you're actually playing the story for real, even though we're in the finale, essentially, of the game. And you asking, how does Jack Kelso compare to Cole Phelps? Jack Kelso, as you've seen in a couple of the military flashbacks, he is someone who has no respect for unearned authority. If you can prove that you walk the walk, he'll listen to you. But up until then, you might as well be a stranger who is giving nonsense orders. He is someone who will do the right thing, even if it doesn't make rational sense for him to do it. And if someone gives him a bad order, he will reject that order and call them stupid for giving that order in the first place. He is. I said he's lawful good, but he's actually more like neutral good or chaotic good, because he has a very, very strong disrespect for authority figures that's been seen over and over again. And Cole knows this, and Cole kind of needs someone like this to take the case, which is why he's laned on Kelso to take over.
You wanted to see me?
Ah, yes, Jack. I'm just trying out a new putter. I noticed Elsa Lichtman in the lobby.
It's the weirdest thing, Mr. Benson.
Call me Curtis, Jack. This is California.
Like I said, Curtis, this is a very strange case.
How so, Jack?
That lady, Elsa Lichtman, is refusing a 20 grand payout.
Elsa Lichtman is hardly a lady, Jack. She's a jazz musician. Plays at the Blue Room in Hollywood. She has a fine pair of lungs, now that I think
She's
of it.
the beneficiary of this guy, Lou Buckwalter. He was killed in an industrial accident working for Elysian Fields Developments. You know Elysian?
I'm familiar with Leland Monroe. We move in similar circles.
Well, Miss Lichtman is making some pretty serious accusations. She says the case stinks and that
She's a
something
very
happened.
highly strung girl, Jack. Strung out might be a better way to put it.
It's a pretty generous payment, Curtis. I think I should look into it.
Is there anything wrong with the paperwork, Kelso?
No, there isn't, Mr. Benson.
I didn't think so. Pay the case out and get her off our backs.
I can't make her take the money,
Deal
sir.
with it, Jack. Do your fucking job. Do I have to do everything?
No, sir, you don't.
Fine, Jack. Fine. You know I have the greatest confidence in you.
Thanks, Mr. Benson.
You also notice that Jack will only refer to people by Mr. or that kind of like very professional kind of way when he does not like them.
Thanks, kid.
Like that's what he calls you when he doesn't like you. You also notice that we have no partner. We're essentially on our own. To answer your question, Kelly, Jack actually does have a much more measured voice than Cole does. But every character in this game has that. I think that's a result of the studio that they're recording in, and less the game itself, or less than the actors themselves. I feel like that they're actually they're not as loud as they would be if they weren't in such an echoey recording studio. But Jack tends to have a much more measured voice to him. He's a very, very, like, quiet, angry kind of guy. Whereas Cole is more outwardly expressive.
That's not how my pop taught me to mix it. Someone is cutting corners.
So now we know that the cement mixture is cheaper than what you'd expect from cement. That's this clue, is that the cement is of low quality. Like the bricks we found earlier in the last case. No, I don't want to look at that.
Bulldozing and starting again. Leland Monroe, the man with the grin. Looks like he doesn't like to be disappointed.
Delays will not be tolerated, in all caps. Freeways. Let's see if there's anything.
Hey! You just can't be walking around down here.
I'm Jack Kelso, from California Fire and Life.
I don't care if you're from the Vatican. Buzz off.
I'm investigating the accidental death of a Lou Buckwalter, and...
You deaf? Do I have to beat on you?
Looks like you do.
See, this is who Jack is. He is the guy who, when someone says back off, you're like, I'll fucking beat you up.
Buckwalter died. You were just about to offer to show me the way.
It's out the gate and 3 houses down to the left. Don't know what you're looking for, smart guy. There's nothing there.
Then I'll poke around in the rubble.
Fine. As long as you're out of my sight.
But yeah, as you can see, when Cole Phelps told to fuck off, Cole Phelps just left. But when you tell Jack Kelso to fuck off, you're like, no, actually, you fuck off. I'll beat you up until you tell me what I want to know. That's who he is as a person, which is a much more useful trait when the entire LAPD is conspiring against you solving this case.
The place falls down, and then they bulldoze it. What gives here?
Look at that shiny, not for construction use. On the lumber, on the construction site. I wouldn't call Jack the One Punch Man because he's not bored, but he has a determination that is more in line, as Heller Alexander put it in her piece, with a typical noir protagonist. He's not a cop. He's a private investigator who's doing his own thing, and he's willing to do whatever. Like, he's willing to go through lengths to solve the cases at hand.
Slow down.
Not for construction use.
This guy's got a screw loose. That broad's got socks in his ear. Whoa! Easy!
Let's try to piece this together. That's not right.
Only movie stars have things like that.
They don't quite fit.
Going to church doesn't make you any more Christian than standing in a garage makes you a car.
Keystone Films? Who gets their lumber from a film studio?
So yeah, now we know that the wood is cheap movie studio quality wood, and it's not actually made for construction use. And now we are... Oh! I didn't know. I thought this was one of those scenes, but no, it's not. It's...
Son of a bitch.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, hey, Novra. Welcome to the stream. We're getting chased. Now I'm going to shoot you. Probably. He had to know that gap was there, right? Like, he had to. Why did he drive into it? So let us, as an independent, non-cop, private investigator, use a gain well that is specifically reserved for police use.
Jack Kelso, California Fire and Life investigator. I need an address on the Keystone Film Company.
The address is 658 North Wilton Place. Is there anything else?
No, thank you, ma'am.
So realistically, he shouldn't be able to use that phone, but he did anyway. Also, again, welcome to the stream, Novra. Thank you for joining. So let's Keystone Film Studios, and we will find out we will use the clue that the cheap lumber on these cheaply built houses is coming from a film studio to see where this takes us.
Hi, Mac. I work for California Fire and Life. I'm looking into an industrial accident.
Here?
No, not here. At a housing development over on Normandy Avenue.
So?
I found some lumber over there, had the Keystone name printed on it.
We've been closed since '41. Never quite made the transition to talkies. The Suburban Redevelopment Fund are pulling the place down.
Know anything about the Suburban Redevelopment Fund?
Nix.
Mind if I take a look around?
I'm kind of hungry. If someone was to leave a couple of bucks here, I might wander down the street and get a cup of coffee.
Is there a key to the gate?
No. The only guys who go in or out are some delivery guys from Elysian Fields. They're working on a housing development over at Wilton and Santa Monica. You'll have to hop it.
My name's not Mac. Mac is just the thing you call people in this day. Is like the person I don't know. You're a Mac. Your name is Mac. Like person I don't know and don't really respect that much is you're a Mac. So. So right now I just gotta get the dial just right. Yeah.
In a great day for the future of Los Angeles, civic leaders and businessmen joined forces to launch the Suburban Redevelopment Fund. The Suburban Redevelopment Fund pledges to speed up housing development for returning GIs.
Gentlemen, this is Dr. Harlan Fontaine. He's our latest investor in the Suburban Redevelopment. Doctor, this is Curtis Benson. He's Vice President of the California Fire and Life.
Pleased to meet you, Doctor.
Ray Gordon, editor of the Times. Doctor.
District Attorney Don Sandler and Police Chief Warren.
Gentlemen, I am delighted to be in such exalted company.
You're making quite a name for yourself, Doctor, amongst the thespian fraternity.
I find that those of artistic temperament are often of a fragile mental disposition.
It's a short step from miscreant to recidivism, Doctor.
Very true. But I think
You heard it from Dr. Fontaine. He thinks all artists are mentally ill. You know, things that nice people say.
Sucker getting off a train at Union Station once a part of. Gentlemen, we're here to sell the American dream, and Hollywood is our greatest advertiser.
So, how is your new development selling, Leland?
Cannot throw them up fast enough, Ray.
And that's part of the problem, Leland. Washington is receiving steady complaints. There's a clamor for public housing.
God damn it, Ray.
Public housing is tantamount to communism. Now, that's why we fought this goddamn war. I'm telling you, it's Reds via the back door.
You can't have it both ways, Leland. The new freeways are being built to service all your developments out in the boondocks. They're all being built with government money. The GI Bill is government money.
There's a difference.
What difference?
The GI money ends up in my pocket.
I hope you mean our pockets, Leland. We're all investors.
Of course, Curtis.
So, when will the freeway bond be passed on?
It still has to be ratified. Takes a long time to raise $3 billion.
I need to find a game well or a telephone.
So I think the big question is, why does such a very obviously incriminating film like this even exist? There is no reason for such a very, like, oh, this is our bad guy monologue rant to just be on a film. There's no reason for that. That doesn't need to exist, and yet it does. And therein is the entire plot. We're going to use this guard's phone.
Operator, can you put me through to police dispatch?
Putting you through now.
This is Jack Kelso, investigator for California Fire and Life. Can you put me through to Curtis Benson, please?
Just a moment, please, Mr.
I need
Kelso.
police dispatch for that.
Jack, how can I help?
Do you know anything about the Suburban Redevelopment Fund, Mr. Benson?
I've heard of them, Jack. Building new homes for GIs.
With green lumber that was used on movie sets.
Jack, are you
working the Buckwalter case?
Mr. Benson, are you part of the Suburban Redevelopment Fund?
Jack, I want you to listen very clearly. Call Miss Lickman. Call her as soon as you hang up. Arrange to see her tonight and get her to agree to the settlement. Do it tonight. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
End of story, Jack. I don't want to hear another word about Elsa Lickman or Lou Buckwalter.
Can you put me through to Michigan 221?
Putting the call through.
Hello?
Ms. Lichtman, it's Jack Kelso.
Yes, Mr. Kelso.
I've been looking into your case.
Yes, and what have you found?
It doesn't look good. I need to see you.
Meet me at the Blue Room. I work there tonight. I take a break around 9. I'll be waiting at the stage door. We can talk then. Auf Wiedersehen, Mr. Kelso.
Thanks for your help.
And the plot thickens. Or I guess the plot has kind of like all been revealed more or less at this point. And I will explain it once I get a free moment too.
And don't suppose I'll make a plea, 'cause baby, you know I'm guilty.
There's Cole Phelps. Hopefully he'll have the guts to tell Jack about what's going on. But probably not, because he's a coward. I think that was actually a signal for Elsa to let him know that he was there and going to listen to the conversation. He'll be waiting out back for Jack. Yeah, like this.
What were you doing with him?
I was doing what you asked.
I didn't ask you to meet him in an alleyway.
Why do you snarl at me?
Because you might love someone
Your
else and I'm
friend
jealous.
came to ask me to accept the insurance.
He's not my friend, Elsa.
I think he's a brave man, and you have placed him in great danger. You've involved him in something, and he has no idea of the risk. Can you live with that, Cole?
Elsa, I need his help, and he hates my guts.
Forget the past, Cole. He deserves a chance to say no. If he helps you, let it be on his terms.
Don't use him. Let him make the choice. It is a very, very strong point that she is making.
That's one heck of a Sunday.
But, to summarize the plot so far, basically, the Suburban Redevelopment Fund is building, or buying homes up to demolish them so they can build cheap homes for GIs. But then, when GIs buy the home, burn it down to sell it because the homes are made of cheap materials, cheap cement, cheap bricks, cheap labor, or cheap lumber, so that they're not actually viable to live in. They would not be up to code. They're deliberately designed that way so that they can get the money off the GI Bill. But there are other elements of this plot we will talk about later. But that's what we know of as of right now. And we are going to meet the people that we were told to introduce to Elsa Lichtman. For the insurance claim.
Nice wiring job, fellas. Keep them in the dark.
So yeah, these homes are not even wired. The switch, it's all essentially an elaborate movie set, is what's being built here. There is like you cannot live in this place. There is nothing. There are no amenities whatsoever. No electric, no water, no nothing. It is just. It might as well be an empty lot, effectively.
You lose something, Mac?
I thought these private eye types were all wise guys with smart mouths.
Looks like the snappy repartee has all dried up.
Get on with it.
What's your hurry, Mac? You got some place to go?
You ever do the cat and mouse routine without a gun in your hand?
Now that's more like it.
Let's put a few gaps in that side.
3 meatheads with nary a brain cell between them.
3 meatheads with nary a brain cell between them. You gotta love Kelso. He's such a cool guy compared to the person we were playing as up until now. I mean, we're not supposed to win that fight. We're supposed to lose, so it's okay.
You're a worn, tough guy. You should learn to take a hint. Get him downstairs and into the trunk.
This is not game over. We're not done yet. The game has just started. Or the fight has just started.
Sure, he turned up all right. He's wishing he didn't. He's in the trunk. He's going nowhere. The boys introduced themselves. What do you want done with him, Mr. Monroe? Yeah, I know a good place.
So they work with Leland
Pick
Monroe.
up a shovel and a pick on the way. It's up in the hills behind Griffith Park. We'll deal with that German bitch next.
I wonder if they got removed his gun from him. If they didn't, they're stupid.
Elsa.
Get in a vehicle is the objective. I like it. I'm gonna need your car, dude.
What the hell? Sorry, pal. Desperate times.
Woo!
Love.
You deserved it! Probably.
Monroe owns the city. Owns the cops. I need to find Elsa.
Bad driving.
Hello!
Must be his blind spot.
Control your car. Can't you see what's happening? If you only knew what was happening.
Whoops. Hey!
Where are they? Is that the last of them?
You still get rated the same as if this was a Cole Phelps case in terms of like property damage, but that doesn't count since they were enemy vehicles. Damage against them doesn't get counted against me. Like they were essentially opponents, and that was fine. And since we are no longer in danger, I am going to let the auto drive handle this bullshit. But yeah, that was actually genuinely fun for a second. Come on, Jack. This is a very noir scene too. Like we were talking earlier, like this like Jack feels like where the noir and LA Noire actually comes from, because he is a very typical like hero from that genre. Brought into a deep conspiracy by a mysterious dame with a past.
So you're still carrying that Army 45, Cole?
For God's sake, Cole! Call an ambulance!
I'm gonna sit here and stare uselessly, Elsa. That's what I do. I just sit here and stare, because that's all I can do. Oh no, he's fine. We'll be playing as him later, for other cases. I missed some clues. That sucks. But we got enough. Oh, I did miss it! This is the scene!
Satchel charges on the cave entrance from above. Covering fire on weapons team. Look for snipers in the trees. You know the drill. No risks, no heroes, no prisoners.
You want some roast on this one, Sarge?
No, you guys have done enough. Head back to Webb's. We are going to blow every cave we come across. Close them down and move on, people.
Damn. I was hoping to get me a samurai sword.
Skipper says that Phelps has fallen behind again. He's got his fire teams checking every cave. He's lost another flamethrower. He wants you to get over there and hurry them along.
Ho, boom. Weapons company.
Sir.
Sir.
We have a major cave complex in front of us, Hogaboom. I want flamethrowers and BAR teams to clean it out.
Begging your pardon, sir. But if it's a big complex, why don't we bring the Shermans in? They could pour it in there.
We can't wait for tanks to be brought up. I'm already behind.
Then blow the cave. No skin off our nose. Bury them.
We are going in there and clearing them out. We are doing it by the numbers, Sergeant. Get your team in place.
Doing it by the
We're moving
books
out.
is Cole's thing, even if it's inefficient and useless.
Mount up. First fire team and flamethrowers. Head in.
Where's he going? Where's who going?
The big cowboy. He's going in. Who gave that order? You did.
Who gave that order? You did. That is Cole Phelps in a nutshell. That is Cole Phelps in a nutshell. This is not by the books. You called it. You. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry.
Hello, Miss Lichtman. How long have you been sitting there?
Not long, Mr. Kelso.
You look lovely, Princess. You haven't exactly caught me at my best. It's okay, Miss Lichtman. I'm a big boy. I know how to take my licks.
Please, call me Elsa.
Okay, Elsa? What can I do for you?
I'd like to explain because
I can join the dots, Elsa.
Cole needs your help, Jack. The police department have frozen him out.
Look, you're obviously a brave lady, but you can't fight all Cole's battles for him.
I just wanted to apologize
You
for...
don't have to apologize. You were right about Elysian Fields. Tell me something. What was Lou Buckwalter's regular job?
He was a carpenter. He built sets for RKO, Warner Brothers.
Set carpenter? Perfect. If you don't mind, Elsa, I'd like to get a little rest now. I've got a lot more dots to join, and it's making my head hurt.
That's perfectly understandable, Mr. Jack. hope we can meet again under less dramatic circumstances.
I hope so too, Princess. I'd like that.
I'm a private detective, and I have a hard exterior but a soft shell. That's who I am. Or a soft inner core. I'm like a Tootsie
Kelso?
Pop.
Who's asking?
Peterson, Assistant DA.
You're in the wrong building, Peterson. This is a hospital.
A wise guy. Let me tell you a story, Kelso.
Can I get the abridged version? My head hurts.
You're a funny guy, Jack.
What do you want, Peterson?
A colorful character mentioned your name. He said that you might know something about...
There's a problem with colorful characters, Peterson. First they send you over a drink, then they buy you dinner, then you get a phone call in the middle of the night for a favor. Try rubbing shoulders with some solid citizens. They're the ones you're supposed to protect.
You finished, Kelso?
For the moment.
I'm going to run for DA, Kelso. The current administration stinks.
And you want me to help?
I'm looking for a DA's investigator. You get a gun and a badge and $120 a month.
I get $150 a month now.
I'm going after the Vice Squad, Kelso. It's going to get me elected.
I've got something better. How about Leland Monroe?
The property developer?
Do you think I fell down the stairs?
Also, make a note of Jack Kelso's immediate disrespect when he finds out the person he's looking at is an assistant DA. It immediately goes from I am okay with talking to you with I immediately hate you. But thanks to him, we are now an assistant investigator for the DA, or a DA's investigator. And
Thanks for the patch up, Princess. It might be the only R&R I get for some time.
And now we have authority, official police authority, to investigate California Fire and Life and the Vice Squad. And now that we have our car back, we can now talk. Hold on. Let me just make sure we're going to the right place. I think this is where... Yes, we are going to Curtis Benson's apartment. Curtis is the Fire and Life owner, and part of the conspiracy, and our former boss. So, since he helped Leland Monroe get us offed, we're going to go to him and have a bit of a conversation about who he's working with and why he's working with them. So let's go pay our former boss a visit. I don't know which... Here we go.
Remember me?
Jack, it's good to see you. You've caught me at a slightly inopportune moment. Can we do this some other time?
Back off, Curtis. Move away from the door.
Jack, there's no call for that.
You're smooth, Curtis. I'll give you that. You try to get me killed and you still manage to be polite about it.
Jack, how could you accuse me of having anything to do with that?
I want to know all about you and Monroe, Curtis. You give it up or I beat it out of you.
Get the fuck out of here, Jack. You're fired. Who do you think you are? Get out of town now while you still have the chance. You have no idea what kind of forces you're dealing with here.
I guess we've exhausted the passive options. Sit tight, Curtis. I'm taking a look around.
See, he tried to be nice, and then when Curtis wouldn't be nice, he decided to beat him a little bit. Jack doesn't go immediately to violence, it's the last resort. But he will do it if he needs to. But before we even talk to that fool...
How old are you, Princess?
16, mister?
How old are you really?
Nearly 13.
13 years old!
You take love where you can find it as you get older.
Love? That has nothing to do with love, Curtis.
Some might find your romantic notions endearing, Jack. I find them very tiring.
You're finished, Curtis.
That remains to be seen, Jack.
I haven't told you about my new job, Curtis. DA's investigator.
Who do you think the DA reports to, Jack?
The DA is an elected position,
He's not
dude.
so bad. He just lays on top of me and grunts for a few minutes. He's kind. And he buys me nice things.
Get dressed. You're leaving.
She will only come back.
Not if I shoot you first, and I might at this rate. I very much might. But yeah, just in case you wanted to know that he's a bad guy, he fucks a 13-year-old girl. Because it's a Rockstar game, and you can't just have a villain without going to the extreme
What
of
exactly do you expect to find, Jack?
the most miserable person on Earth. Break his knees and then shoot his face off. Here's an interesting little find.
I knew you were in bed with a lesion, Curtis. Now I know why.
Jack, you've made a terrible mistake. Get out while you can.
So this letter is proof that the houses are insured by California Fire and Life. So when they burns down, Elysian Fields gets a payout. So to recap the conspiracy so far, Elysian Fields tries to buy homes on the cheap.
What exactly do you expect to find, Jack?
And shut up, Curtis. And flip them to get money from the GI Bill. The GI Bill being the bill that once veterans came home from the war was used to help them buy homes and start families. The result, which results in the baby boomer generation. The houses were not made up to code. So the Suburban Development Fund sells these houses to veterans at full price, knowing full well that they are of inferior quality materials and cannot and have no utilities and therefore cannot be livable homes. So before they move into those homes, they burn them down as well. And get the insurance money from California Fire and Life, which Curtis is the CEO, is the head of, but doesn't but he's okay because that payout's going to partially to him, so he's not losing any money off of it. Whereas his investors in the company are. And so there are now two ways in which this conspiracy is making a ton of money. And they needed Curtis in on it so that they could falsify the insurance. Layla Monroe was the real estate aspect of this, and Curtis was the insurance aspect of this, and the chief of police and the DA are...
Jack, you've made a terrible mistake.
Are providing
Get out while you can.
cover-up aspect of this by not investigating the crime at all.
I want answers, Curtis. So pay attention.
Please, Jack. I'm not a violent man.
I don't get it, Curtis. You're vice president of the company. Why take the risk?
It's a simple business transaction, dear boy.
You're lying, Curtis. Something happened at the company, didn't it? That's why you took the bribe.
Bribe? What bribe? How can you accuse me of benefiting ahead of the company? Maybe you didn't hear what I said. You're fired. The way this company is run is no longer any of your goddamn affair.
Tell me about the Suburban Redevelopment Fund.
You're talking about the future of Los Angeles. You cannot interfere with these plans.
Information, Curtis.
Business people who have joined forces to meet the demand for new homes.
That is not true. Let me see if I can catch you in the lie.
You're lying, Curtis. They're going to burn those movie sets they call houses, and you're carrying the insurance on them.
And how do you prove that, Jack?
Yeah, that I can prove.
Rancho Escondido burnt to the ground. California Fire and Life is carrying the paper.
Jack, the best result you could get from insurance would be replacement cost. The stakes are much, much higher.
Why the big payoff in the Buckwalter case? It was bound to bring it to attention.
Who could have predicted this particular confluence of events? Elsa Lichtman as the beneficiary who spurns the cash. The brilliant but flawed detective becoming her lover. And you, Jack, taking their bait.
You buy green lumber and use it to build houses. How do you expect it to end?
Mr. Monroe has a fine reputation for building houses. What would I know about his choice of building materials?
You wouldn't. Let's see if I can...
You smug son of a bitch. You're lying again. It's an insurance scam, pure and simple.
And how do you prove that, Jack? My assessors wrote the policies on the houses.
Sorry. My mistake.
Give me what I need or I'll beat it out of you.
It's all there in the case file, if you know what to look for.
Very neat, Curtis. Maybe I can't work it out, but Phelps can. He may be many things, but he is one of the best detectives the LAPD has ever had.
Yeah, Jack backing off his accusation is actually pretty great.
Fine, Jack.
Also, it's immediately followed by, I'll beat it out of you then! Sorry, I made a mistake. I'm gonna punch you in the face instead! We're gonna go get the case file. Yeah, Jack Kelso is a great is great. I love him. He's a great protagonist, and actually probably the actual main character of the story, because it's like if you're basing it on LA Noire, like he is your noir protagonist. That's who he is.
I'm just going up to my office party. Gotta check over some files.
Take the elevator. First door on the right when you come out. You know the way, Kelso.
This guy must have escaped from the Looney Bin.
Cole A establishes some groundwork and background story. And B, he does play a part in getting Jack into where he is at the end anyway. Like Cole Phelps is a very important character in the story. I don't know if he's the main character, but he's definitely a very important character in the story. And it does make sense. A also gives the Delawares a reason to have the traffic desk and the burglary desk that ended up getting cut, and the homicide. Like it gives them an excuse to have all of those desks so that you can do the investigative work that they want to do in this engine. Even though the actual story ends up being Jack Kelso. And honestly, kind of like the last minute part of the game. Or the finale of the game, being the game's actual plot. It's weird, but I get it, and it does make sense in like
What is it you don't want me
a kind of '90s video game-esque way of.
Insured replacement value for the house is $900. Current value of the house and land is $3,500. Christ, how many of these dumps are we carrying on the books?
There's got to be more in these files. There's something else in that report. I know it.
34 degrees, 4 minutes, 29 seconds north. 118 degrees, 17 minutes, 58 seconds west.
I have a Detective Phelps of the LAPD here to see you.
Have a seat, Cole. Where's the go-between? She's awful easy on the eye for a foreign girl.
Does that private dick petter actually work on anyone, Kelso? It's not your style. You were always a little more direct.
This is your dime, officer.
Would you have helped me if I asked, Jack? A little chuck on the shoulder, shot of Semper Fi.
Fuck you, Cole. Be a man. Why send a woman to do your dirty work? You're a cop. Why do you want my help?
I thought a PI might be a little more discreet.
I'm no gumshoe. I used to be an investigator for this company before your investigation got me fired.
I'm sorry to hear that, Jack. I'm sorry about a lot of things.
Is that an apology, Cole?
It's a feeble attempted one, yes. Look, Jack, it's a murder case, and I need help to solve it.
So what's it got to do with Elysian Fields developments?
They're in it somehow. The flyers keep turning up whenever I find a domestic fire.
They're boosters. Stiffing GIs for deposits, making them wait months for a throw-up house. They're already making more money than they can count. What's turned them into killers?
So you believe me?
This is why you dragged me into the Buckwalter case.
Look, Jack, I'm sorry. But if not for me, do it for some of the poor saps who are dying. Or some of the leathernecks who are getting grifted. How about it, Jack?
I know you, Cole. You're still beating yourself up over that medal on Sugarloaf. The medal you think you didn't deserve, but you just don't get it. Nobody deserves a medal. It's just the ridiculous situation you find yourself in and how you react to it. You think you failed up on that hill. But courage isn't a tap you can turn on or off. Courage isn't permanent. It's a tenuous and fickle thing. Courage and cowardice exist in every man. Get over it.
You got it off your chest.
I guess I have.
Can you help me, Jack?
I'm thinking about it. The Hall of Records is the place to start.
So yes, for the record, Cole and Jack still hate each other, but they've gotten to an understanding they're willing to cooperate for the purpose of getting this case solved. Which I actually think that was actually a fairly good scene overall. Like it's a little bit of posturing on both people's ends, but it's very deliberate and very
Hello there.
very coordinated posturing.
Need some help there, sir?
The Land Registry Office. Where is it?
Just up the stairs.
And by the way, Kelly, yes, Jack does have the Cole Phelps indoor voice thing that all characters in this game seem to have. It's just a quirk of the recording, I think. I think they had to be pretty clear in the mic, and that as a result of them being kind of loud overall. So let's go to the Land Registry Office and look up some information.
I'd like to see the company details of the Suburban Redevelopment Fund.
Certainly, sir. Just this way.
And so we're going to obtain some information from the Hall of Records.
All those suburban sons of bitches ought to be listed in here.
So we're looking for the Suburban Redevelopment Fund. And this is the name of all of the stakeholders. Now, if you'll look, you'll notice Courtney Sheldon.
Courtney? For God's sake. What's he got
And
to
Courtney
do
Sheldon was the guy behind
information on a
the
plot of
morphine
land.
heist at
Okay,
the Cool
do you
Ridge.
have the address?
Not exactly. It's a new lot. I have the coordinates. 34 degrees, 4 minutes, 29 seconds north. 118 degrees, 17 minutes, 58 seconds west.
All right, that makes it a bit more difficult. Come with me.
So Courtney Sheldon, who was involved in the morphine case in the Vice desk, is now also a key investor in
34 degrees.
The Suburban Redevelopment Fund.
4 minutes, 29 seconds north. 118 degrees, 17 minutes, 58 seconds west. The lot number's 1876988.
Unfortunately, that is just the beginning. We have at least 1 million lot numbers in the Los Angeles area. The registrations are in alphabetical order. You need to convert your lot number to a letter.
How do I do that?
Over here, use this adding machine. There are 90,000 entries to a book, so divide your lot number by 90,000.
1876988 divided by
90,000. Yes.
8, 7, 6, 9, 8, 8. Why are they making me manually punch this in? This is so silly.
1,876,988 divided by 90,000.
20.
A starts at 0, so you want to add 1 to your number.
21.
That number is your letter of the alphabet. Once you have the letter, find the right aisle, and you are in business.
You do this every day?
So Z is 26, so Y would be 25, W would be 24, X would be 23, V would be 21, and V would be 22, and therefore U would be 21.
Let's see what the site is worth to them.
And we're looking for
1876988.
Yes, 1876988.
One 1876988. The book value is $350. With the new home in place, the improved value of the property is $3,500. They can make a killing. But how do they pull it off?
Know why I plumbed for the caddy? The extra trunk space.
One thing you learn in the war, boys. You do your talking once the smoke clears.
Oh, I didn't see the guy on the other side. On the right.
Throw out the gun.
How long do you think you can hold out? But yeah, we will have a talk with Courtney Sheldon about why he's involved in the Suburban
I need a word, Courtney.
That's okay, Jack. You didn't need to come all the way down.
It's important, Courtney.
How can I help?
Tell me about the Suburban Redevelopment Fund.
What are you talking about?
Don't fuck with me, Courtney!
Jack, I swear, I don't know what you're talking about.
How does your name appear as one of the investors in the Suburban Redevelopment Fund?
You're out of your mind.
I was down at the Hall of Records checking on a property company called Elysian Fields Developments. Their funding comes from the Suburban Redevelopment Fund.
Seriously, Jack, I have no idea.
Your name is there, Courtney, with some pretty interesting company. The mayor, the district attorney, some dirty cops, and your buddy, Dr. Harlan Fontaine.
Dr. Fontaine?
Spill it, Courtney. I want all of it. Fontaine and the rest.
Fontaine took the morphine off our hands. Look, Jack, I know you said to get rid of it, but it's okay. I did something good for once. He reinvested the money for us. That's it. That's what's happening. They're building houses for GIs, Jack. I turned a mistake into something beneficial. Something that's going to help out the guys.
Courtney, they're building matchstick houses. They're going to burn them for the insurance money. They'll probably stiff the poor bastards for the deposits.
Please, Jack. Say it isn't so. Harlan's a doctor. A good one. He helps out a lot of people.
Looks like he's helping himself, Courtney. You're the fall guy.
Yep. So that's how the morphine comes into play for this case. Dr. Harlan Fontaine put Courtney on the investors list because he as credit for the morphine that he got from Courtney.
Who's asking?
Leyland Monroe.
I was wondering when you'd get around to calling.
I'd like to meet with you, Mr. Kelso.
I bet you would, Mr. Monroe, but I value my skin highly enough to not want to meet with you. Why don't you just send some more of your boys around and we'll have a nice cup of tea?
You realize that I could make you a very wealthy man, Mr. Kelso.
Better than $220 a month?
You're a very witty man, Kelso. Substantially better.
I'm going to have to let it slide, Mr. Monroe.
Are you haggling with me, Jack?
I might be.
Come around to my place at 9. 5164 Santa Monica Boulevard. You'll come?
This is a good place to end the stream, I think, with this last scene. Once we finish.
Good night, Mr. Monroe.
Meeting up with Mr. Monroe at the end of this case. So this is the part where we start to really understand the true nature of the plot at hand. So now we know Jack's made some extra calls. We're going to go talk to Mr. Leyland Monroe. And yeah, you're right. The voice acting is kind of odd. It's kind of odd, and it's really like the sampling that's the problem. I feel like that I feel like the voice acting was done in a very echoey room. It's what it sounds like to me. Like not Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines level echoey, but kind of echoey.
I appreciate the help, all of you. We can reminisce later. I want a minimum of noise and no prisoners.
No prisoners? This isn't Peleliu, Jack.
These guys are grifting GIs. That's what they do for a living.
It's okay, Jack. We all feel the same way. Just hasn't turned out quite the way we imagined.
Let's get it done. Teams of 2 at the ready.
So Jack essentially asked his veteran buddies to join him in storming this place. Okay.
Somebody put some fire on that guy! Your move, mister! Come get me! Hi, you motherfucker! Two of them on your right! Good kill!
So we're basically storming Leyland Monroe's house right now. And you're probably wondering, how does no one see this? And that's a good question. I don't have an answer to it. We're just here to have a pleasant Sunday chat with Leyland Monroe. That's all. That's all we're here for.
That's a kill!
A pleasant Sunday night chat with Leyland Monroe. Yeah, you noticed the firepower, so did I. That's a very interesting point, Kelly. A lot of firepower going on right now.
Almost out. Need a new weapon. How long do you think you can hold out?
Finally, he says it. How long do you think you can hold out? Gun licenses. What is this, a state with gun laws? That sounds like communism.
Good kill! Nailed that son of a bitch.
How long do you think you can hold out? I noticed that Jack says it a lot clearer than Cole does.
All right, men, hold the perimeter. I got personal
Dead men are
business,
heavier.
Mr. Leland.
Achievement unlocked. Holy shit. This game thinks it's edgy as fuck. Now let's have a pleasant Sunday chat with Leyland Monroe, and that will be the final scene, I think.
Blast him!
Where's my hat? Where's my hat? There. More important. It's more important that I keep the hat.
You're a very sweet-looking girl to be holding such a big gun.
I know how to use it, mister.
I'm sure you do. So how about pointing it over there in the direction of Hollywood instead of at me, Princess?
You're quite the wise guy.
I don't normally shoot women, Princess. How about putting the cannon down? I didn't think you had the guts, sweetheart. I was never very good at reading women.
Monroe, where are you, damn it?
You're gonna love this scene when you meet Monroe. You're gonna love it, I promise.
Fuck you! Fuck you!
Same. Fuck you. Need that hat, though.
You're surrounded and your buddies are dead.
Full moon tonight.
Show me your face, motherfucker!
Put the weapon.
This isn't Heavy Rain, but this is much better than Heavy Rain. Say what you will about Team Bondi, and you can say a lot of shitty things about them. This is better than Heavy Rain. All right, so how do I get to Leyland? There we go. Watch this. This is great.
Jack Kelso.
That's my opening negotiating position.
Oh, you crazy son of a bitch! How did you get in here? I'm bleeding to death. Get me a doctor.
I thought I had an invitation, Monroe. Your boys outside were certainly expecting me.
That's my
second offer.
You sadistic bastard! What do you want?
I'm going to take a look around, Monroe. Then I want you to tell me what you know about the mayor and those Trojan houses that you're building.
That's his opening negotiating position. That is a fucking line if I've ever heard one.
It's a hell of a payroll.
Look at the payments to R. Earl, like our former partner Roy Earl. I see 3 on this list, and like this is a list of dirty cops, more or less. And listen to him sniveling like a little pathetic whining
I'm guessing
piece of
Vincent's
shit.
portfolio is only a fraction the size of yours, Monroe.
Let's look at that file on the top.
Smart. Keep the dirt on Fontaine under lock and key. This is your insurance.
So this is Roy Earl's report that Dr. Fontaine is a source of drugs in the city. Like, he is a big distributor of drugs, and that is Roy Earl agreeing to as much. So that if he was ever betrayed, then he would have dirt on Fontaine.
Dr. Fontaine, I need to speak with you urgently.
Sit down, please, sit down.
Tell me about the Suburban Redevelopment Fund.
It's the fund we are using to channel money into the development of new houses.
Why is my name on the board of managers?
Technically, you are a major contributor. Please, Courtney.
Those houses are a sham, Doctor. They're going to be burned for the insurance.
That's a scandalous allegation, Courtney. Do you have any proof?
Jack Kelso, an investigator for California Fire and Life, has seen them. He was almost killed when he found out what was going on.
I don't know what to say. I feel that I have been duped. Who do you think is behind this subterfuge?
Jack says it's a property developer named Monroe. He said it goes all the way to the mayor.
You cannot have believed that I was involved.
I don't know what to believe anymore, Doctor. I hoped that you weren't involved.
Thank you for your trust, dear boy. Be still, Courtney. All of your troubles are finally over. Let them go.
So yeah, Courtney Sheldon has made nothing but mistakes. Pretty much his entire time in this game, and his last one was trusting a psychopathic murderer / drug dealer with knowledge that
The Suburban Redevelopment Fund. Remind me what they say about absolute power, Monroe.
Fuck you, Jack. Call me an ambulance already.
bad guys, the game calls them. Not criminals, bad guys. Look at this old file right here. Let's open this, see what's in here.
Some sold up. The others obviously didn't know the links these sons of bitches would go to.
Yeah, these are...
It can't be stopped, Kelso. There's too much money at stake.
Kingdoms rise and kingdoms fall, Monroe. Ask the Emperor of Japan.
Have some fucking mercy!
Operator, put me through to Phelps, Arson squad. Yeah, Biggs, it's Jack. I'm at Monroe's. He's in a talkative mood. If you get here in a hurry, you might get something before he bleeds to death. Elsa.
Oh, thank God.
Where? Fontaine. Dead? Former patient.
So that crazy son of a bitch finally came back for a checkup.
It's Monroe. He's raving.
You want information, cocksucker. You get me some medical help.
I've got to go, Herschel. Monroe's negotiating again. Do you want my final offer, Leland? Tell me how I find the guy who has Elsa.
Not Casey. He did whatever Fontaine asked. He had some kind of power over him. He did all the fires, and then he went off the rails. I don't have a fucking name! He worked as a bug sprayer. Get me a goddamn doctor! Kelso, you son of a whore! Get me a goddamn doctor!
Leave the rich man bleeding on the floor, and I know I can fucking... that's a big mood. I can go for that. I could go for some rich people getting shot in the leg and then left to bleed out. I could go for that. I could really go for that right now. And, unless there's an Army flashback, this is going to be... Yeah, this is the end. Oh, next week we have a DLC case to do. We have a DLC case to go back to playing as Cole Phelps for some reason. Why would they put it here of all the places? You're in the middle of reaching the final critical point in the story where the big conspiracy gets completely unraveled, but we're going to take a break to do a DLC side mission. Next time. Okay. That's fine. But I hope you understand now why I really enjoy Jack Kelso as a character compared to Cole Phelps. He is like the perfect 2019 mood in a nutshell. We're not doing the VR cases, Kelly, no matter how much you ask me to do that. I can't. I'm not doing that, not even by myself off stream. I can't do it. I don't care enough about this game to do it in VR. That is all she wrote for today in the world of La Noire. Take care, guys. I will see you next week. Hopefully we'll finish, but I don't think so. I think we might have like 2 more recordings left, depending on how quickly these last couple cases go. It's kind of hard to say, but until next time.